Hi Cancer, welcome to your March 2020 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you. So my lunar brothers and sisters, before we start, as always, if you want to get a reading with me, you can do so on the website addressed below. And before we start, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you, or should I say us, on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So as always, I'm keeping you on your toes. There is something new you guys asked, and I am doing my absolute best to deliver. So Moonchild, for your full moon on the 9th of March, your full moon on the 9th of March is taking place in the sign of Virgo, and this is all to do with your third house. This is about your communications. It could be about siblings. It could even be about your local travel, how you get around the place that you live in, how you interact with the people in your local environment in some way, shape or form. So now you got a full moon. Full moon's a peak experience, a culmination or a completion of some sort. So I got my trusty notes here, so stay with me and we will go through the full moon and the new moon. All right, so consider the full moon as a completion. Yeah, I've already said that. When you add to this fact that this is actually trining your 11th house, so there could be some really good times for you for your social circle. Maybe you and a sibling are interacting with people in a social situation. Maybe you're just connecting to people in your local area. Maybe you're going to meetups. Maybe it's just, you know, a good time with neighbors. Maybe you're connecting with people in your local vicinity. This could be a really good time for that, especially around the full moon itself. It could bring a lot of fun and light-hearted communications and connections. It could also highlight to you where the limitations between you and your connections are. So on top of that, Uranus and Venus are conjunct in your 11th house, and this could see you harmonizing or forging or maybe even reforging connections with old friends. This is a really odd one because literally this morning I woke up from a dream about an old friend who was talking to my current partner. Very, very strange. Yeah, anyway. So this could also bring people from your past or groups from your past that you may have belonged to coming back into the picture. It could also be a blast, but could also, yeah, so this could be a really great time for past connections coming in, you know, of a social circle, maybe people that you hung around with when you were younger, maybe people that you know, friends that you grew up near or grew up next to or spent a lot of time with. They could be coming back into the picture or into the fold this month. Remember, we've got a Mercury Retrograde taking place as well, which is offering a trine energy to you as well. And then we've got this full moon taking place as well, which is, you know, it's a fantastic energy, but it could definitely be bringing somebody back in. So it might look, yeah, the other thing that I need to mention about this as well, it might highlight how different you are now. Right, it's all well and good. You know, when you see like an old friend that you hung out with in public and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, yeah, we were best friends. It's lovely to see you. How have you been? Let's meet up for drinks, coffee, whatever. And then through the process of going through that, meeting up for drinks and coffee and everything, you realize actually, wow, you know what, we're very different now. You know, I'm not who I used to be, you're not who you used to be, and I'm not entirely sure that those, the connection we had then will be the same as the connection that we have now. It will be different because we're different people, which is a beautiful energy, but at the same time, you might be maybe slightly disappointed that it's not exactly the same connection, or maybe it creates some tension because it's not that, or maybe it's slightly uncomfortable because you're like, oh wow, you know, I feel like I've forgotten how to do this because I'm not who I used to be. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, just try and enjoy the moment, be present, you know, as long as you're doing that, you'll be fine. This moon is in a stressed angle. And it's causing some tension around an old connection, and this might be something that you maybe, you know, maybe a sibling or a friend or possibly even a partner it might create some tension there, you know, and it might be that maybe a friend or a sibling or a partner says to you, oh, you know, you're different now, you know, it's like whichever way you turn, you might feel like, you know, I'm not sure I'm going to win this, so fuck it, whatever. With your third house, full moon is trine to Mars, Jupiter and Pluto in your seventh. A new love prospect could be coming in, making you ready to declare a new partnership. And for some of you, it could be that maybe you've got a current partner and now you're ready to let your friends, loved ones, people know that that is the case. That's definitely a possibility. So yeah, it could be a business, it could be pleasure, or it could be platonic, any sort of partnership really. It also flavors the communications and the interactions of a professional nature, and it sees you also sees you passionately pursuing some kind of long-term change when it comes to your connections, which is a really interesting one. You know, you could be doing some sort of recon on the connections that you have, on the way that you communicate with some of the people that are in your current circles. The square of Venus and Uranus conjunct and square to Saturn could also be creating some kind of understanding that there's going to be parts of your life and maybe people in it that will either never see eye to eye, or maybe some parts of your life need to be kept separate. Maybe your partner and your friends don't get on. It is what it is. Maybe your siblings and your partner don't get on. It is what it is. Maybe your siblings and your friends don't get on, or because there could be something here where you feel almost like piggy in the middle. Do you know what I mean? Like you're having to mediate between the two, and it could get really frustrating and actually, to be honest, quite downright annoying. All right. So on the opposite end, around the 23rd, so on the 23rd of March, you've got your new moon in Aries, which is taking place in your 10th house. This is all to do with your career, your social status, your the way that you show up in the world, the way that you interact with the world, the way that people view you in the world through the guise of your work, your career, your personality, how you show up in response to, or rather in the eyes of everybody else in the world. This could be a fresh start to your career. New moon is a point of beginnings, right? Your full moon is a culmination or a completion. Your new moon is a start. It's a beginning, an initiation. This could be some sort of a career change or a fresh start for you. It sees you making dynamic shifts towards your career goals and making those a reality. It's a time for you to sow seeds. This is in your career and how you show up for the world. It is making a square to Venus. And so the sun, the moon coupled together at a new moon, and then at 5 degrees, so the sun and the moon are at 4, and then Chiron is at 5, right? So this is your baggage or your wound. It could be those moments where you're like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I've had this in my career, or I've been held back or stopped from doing this and this in my career because of, who I am, what I've needed to do, or ultimately for whatever responsibilities I might have needed to deal with. It could see you really looking at that. Excuse me. But it could be also you bringing a breath of fresh air and new insights into your career. That square there, maybe your social life will need to take a little bit of a back seat to start reaching for some of your bigger worldly desires. So, because you've got that whole thing going on there, it might be that you have to say, look, you know what, I'm going to have to take time out of this. It's nice to be the good time person, but also I've got stuff that needs to be done. So you could be considering that. It's also squaring the north node in your first house and the south node in your 7th house. This could be creating some tension between your partnerships and your career. And with the south node, it might mean that you're being asked to be more proactive about your career and revealing more of yourself to show up in the world, right? So there might be something about this whole thing that says to you, right, if you want this new start, if you want this new beginning, this is what you need to put in place. This is what's going to be required of you in order for you to get to those bigger goals, those bigger dreams, those bigger aspirations that you want to go for. Like, what do you want your career to be? You're going to have to be proactive about how that happens, right? So it might be as well that you need to nurture your partnerships a bit more. Maybe you need to be selective about the ones that you're spending so much time with. Maybe you need to put more of yourself into your work or into what it is that you do, so that you can start to gain the recognition or the appreciation that you're looking for. So for your cards, your actions and interactions with the world at large, you've got the Knight of Wands. So it looks like you could be doing some sort of travel, some sort of commuting, but you're very passionate this month. You know, you're really vibrant, really living your truth, and really sort of saying to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to be here. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to be present. But ultimately, I am ready to move forward. That's the thing about the Knight of Wands. It's forward progression at all costs. I don't care what the cost is, but I need to be moving forward. I can't contain this energy. And because it is in your actions and interactions with the world at large, it really is asking you to be proactive about this stuff. It's not enough to say, oh, you know, I want a good career, or I want to be seen differently. What are you willing to do about it? Because you've got all the energy to make it happen. You just need to start to create the track for that energy to travel on, through, or over. So, you know, this looks like a month where you could really be figuring this stuff out. You could be quite tough with people that are either standing in your way, or you know, or people that are trying to kind of hold you to whatever their point of reference is. Let's put it that way. Your money and materials, you've got the Star card. Beautiful for money, right? Because this means that you really are focused on the long term. This is about where it is that you want to go and how you're going to make that happen. There's a lot of internal faith, trust, but there's also a lot of internal dialogue going on this month. You know, you could be looking at your out of circumstances and the people that you're connected to and really saying to yourself, right, okay, how do I use all of this to my advantage? And ultimately, how do I let that or get that to take me to the next step, to where it is that I want to be, as opposed to where I am now. Finances and money look good. This means that you're kind of getting a glimpse of what your financial future looks like. I can't remember who it was, but there's a guy who says, tell me, or no, what is it's the saying that says, tell me what your current habits are and I'll show you what your financial future looks like. Well, this month, you could be really getting a glimpse of that, to really start to understand, right, okay, these habits, these things that I'm doing, these, you know, moments that I'm spending my time with, how are they building, you know, my future success, or my future finances, or my future lot. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Four of Wands. I love this card, right? You could be hearing about, just to step outside of this month, you could be hearing about a surprise engagement, maybe a surprise partnership is coming up. Interestingly enough, this could be for you. For some of you, this could be about an engagement. For some of you, this could be a sibling saying to you, like, you know what, I'm with this person, and, you know, there's a big declaration around it. It's really welcome news, but I think maybe as time goes on, you might realise that, you know, there's parts of this that either don't mesh. Just enjoy the time that you have, right? Whatever happens, whoever comes back into the fold, whoever reconnects, whoever, you know, gets back with their ex or whatever, they are truly happy, right? If they're coming through the Four of Wands, they're genuinely happy. They're genuinely celebrating. So celebrate with them and for them, right? Be present, have fun. There's lots of enjoyment to be had this month for sure. Lots of laughs, lots of giggles. Like I said, there might be some moments where you think, you know what, I'm no longer really that person, but I can be here and have fun with these people, right? And as long as you separate out the two, you'll be fine. For your heart and half, you've got the Six of Cups. There is definitely a blast from the past coming in. There is someone, some old friend, some old partner, some old social circle, a whole bunch of things that you're connecting with. Maybe there's a reunion taking place, because your Four of Wands is celebrations, right? Star card represents Aquarius, so bigger, broader groups, and the Six of Cups is about the past. you know, happy memories, happy, vibrant, enjoyable memories. It does look like there's either some sort of big reunion taking place or some sort of invite that comes to maybe a wedding or a celebration. And a lot of you are just getting together. I really like it, actually. You could have a lot of fun. Just don't bank on it being something for the long term, right? And as long as you do that, you really will be getting the most out of it. For those of you that are single, yeah, this could be a past love, a past partner, a past somebody, you know, maybe even just a friend with benefits, you know, is coming back into the fold to be enjoyed. For those of you that are partnered, this is about you getting back to happier times. It's about you maybe going back to the honeymoon period, or maybe finding ways to bring the honeymoon period enjoyment into the here and now, which is a, you know, a really nice energy, especially if you can make it work. Just don't try to force things and people together that don't mix. You know, if it's like, if some are oil and some are water, they're never really going to mix, right? And, you know, it is what it is. Just consider that. So your first week of the month, you've got the High Priestess right underneath the Knight of Wands. It looks like for a lot of you, there could be a secret crush, a secret admirer, something behind the scenes that is very passionate, that is very fun, that is very vibrant. Maybe something that makes you feel like a teenager again is taking place here in this first week of the month. Very likely to be in and around your own personal local sort of location, or maybe people from your own sort of past. But it does look like a lot of fun to be had. I mean, you know, just consider obviously if you're single or if you're not single or whatever. For your second week of the month, you've got the Devil card right underneath the Star card. So this is interesting. Whatever your old ideas and ideals were when it comes to money, materials, finances, it might be time to let some of those go, or certainly at least find ways to challenge them, Cancer. Because your Devil card is about what you're unconscious or choosing to unconsciously be tied to. And it falls underneath the Star card. So this might be a week where, you know, like I said, the friends and the siblings clash, or, you know, something of that nature. Your tendency will be for everybody to kind of get on, and it might not, sometimes it's just not possible. All right, so just let that be the case. And if it is the case, just acknowledge that, you know what, I love you both. You obviously don't get on. We'll agree to disagree. Thank you. Next. So consider that. When it comes to your finances, though, this could be something online, maybe gambling, maybe some sort of addiction, some sort of, you know, something that you're maybe doing too much of. And you could start to see that actually this is costing me more than a pleasure than it's actually giving out. All right. Your third week of the month, you've got the Death card right underneath the Four of Wands. So your third week of the month, you even if you know something isn't necessarily going to last, let somebody enjoy it. All right. Even if you can see from a mile off it's going to end in tears, that's somebody else's path, and sometimes they need to have something end in tears in order for them to truly move beyond it or to transcend the experience. You've got the Devil card and the Death card right next to each other as well. There might be, you know, this month, Cancer, you've got to let go of needing to be right. You've got to let go sometimes, and as an example, because, you know, people say Cancers and parents, sometimes, and this is going to be really controversial, I can literally see the amount of emails I'm going to get about this, but whatever. Sometimes if you say to the kid, don't touch the radiator because it's hot and it will burn you, they ignore you and they touch the radiator and they burn themselves. Sometimes you have to allow somebody to go through that process of being burned in order for them not to make the same mistake again. For the sake of you and your own sort of responsibility and also your own sanity, Cancer, let people walk their own path. This month, that's going to be really important for you. In terms of your personal connections or personal communications, you need to start speaking out some of your desires, some of the things that you actually want. Start vocalizing them, start sharing them with people. For your fourth week of the month, you've got the World card. Gorgeous, right? Mastery. For those of you that are single, It looks like whoever's coming in is definitely from the past, but this person is very likely older or considered wiser than you are. Not that you're not already very, very wise. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility. This could be somebody from your childhood. This could be somebody that maybe you had a crush on, maybe you came close but you never quite got there. Maybe it's the one that got away, maybe it's the one that never was. You know, there's definitely this energy of whoever it is that's coming in to connect with you this month is somebody from your past. Maybe you finally get to walk down that road that you never thought you would. And the thing is as well, because Death card, you know, the Devil card, sometimes we walk down that road and we're like, you know what? Actually, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. For those of you that are partnered, this is about you guys really needing to make some changes. This is about you guys really now walking the talk, right? This is about you doing a lot of the things that you always said, yeah, you know, one day we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. This is the month where you're going to have to ante up. This is the month where you have to actually go ahead and do this thing or these things that you said you were going to do. So for your key to the month, you've got the Chariot card. Live fast, be present, live well, enjoy your time, you know, stay focused on the here and now, but don't necessarily try to make any long-term or concrete plans. And whatever does happen, when you're right, a lot of the time, when you're right, you don't have to say, I told you so, all right? So it looks like a bit of an interesting and a mixed bag for us this month. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.